It's not the case. We have recited so many times. Wallahi, I'm reading it and I'm enjoying it right now. Surah of Yusuf alayhi salam. And we listen to it and we know what's going to happen next, step by step. Yet, there is something special in the Quran. But I don't want to, what I want to really focus on is different dimensions of Surah Yusuf alayhi salam. How does it touch your life? How does it mean to you? Give me one lesson, quick lesson. This is what I like most about it. This is the lesson I'm getting. This is what I want to highlight. Just give us one idea, one lesson.
Patience for Sayyidina Yaqub.
Patience of his father, Yaqub alayhi salam. Beginning of the surah to the end, towards the end, when the Prophet ﷺ was reading it, he was crying, قَالُوا سَمِعْنَا لَهُ أَزِيزًا. It was like some noise when, towards the end after he lost Yaqub, Prophet Jacob alayhi salam. After he lost one son and the other and all of that drama is happening, and then all of them is coming back to him again. He's asking his children to go, so patience, be patient, no matter what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has planned. Few lessons together, sisters and brothers, from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. وَاللَّهُ غَالِبٌ عَلَىٰ أَمْرِهِ. Allah is غَالِبٌ عَلَىٰ أَمْرِهِ. He has the power to execute His commands. Allah has certain commands and certain aqdar, and that will come true. Yani being taken as a little child, thrown into the well, taken away to be sold as a abd, as a slave, and ending up having all of these temptation and seduction, and then going to the prison, and then going to the other way of test, which is sulta, authority, being in top of the treasury of Egypt back then. Test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will execute, and then he will go back to his parents again. Allah has planned. Let's go with the Mashiach of Allah. More lessons, please. We need everybody. I want to implement the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. يَتْلُونَ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَيَتَدَارَسُونَهُ بَيْنَهُم. We studying the book of Allah between us right now.
One of the lessons is the believer is always number one in his life is to relay the da'wah. And even Sayyidina Yusuf, he was in the decision. The first thing he worried about, he was talking about that you have to worship one God, not many gods. So this is number one in his heart, that always take any opportunity to make da'wah.
It's our mission, the mission of prophets. Some people are ashamed of doing it. It's a pride. It's a, you have to be proud of doing it, to be in place of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not to keep preaching. Keep $10. Sorry, brother, $10 before we continue. We decided this some days back. You have to figure out. Maybe you got a fuck or something. You have to lend, or miss. Your dad is in trouble. Alright, so let me just stand with him. Giving da'wah, he was in a sijin. All of that is happening. Imagine you're on a place of Sayyidina Yusuf. The first thing that will come to my mind, why me? Al-Karim ibn al-Karim, what did I do wrong in my life? You start questioning yourself and your faith and your circumstances and why. Ya akhi, imagine wallahi. Imagine it's sijin, prison, your own brothers, your own family members betray you and all of that, and then you are thrown into the prison. Yes, yet he still believes in his mission. I will give da'wah. Sahib, he will help them, and then first, sugarcoat it, give them, serve people, and then give them the da'wah. When those people asked for the interpretation of the dream, he said, this, and that, and then he gave them the da'wah that, what do you think, multiple gods better or one God? Then, give da'wah, inshallah, brother Banaj.
He is confident, Sayyidina Yusuf, he was confident that his knowledge and his ability, he told the king, put me in this position and I will do better.
Yeah, see somebody, usually if you go through things in life, one way is that it weakens you, you lose your self-confidence. Who am I? I mean, I used to be this and that, but now I have some bad history, coming out from prison, this. But no, as long as you keep your own self-esteem within, nobody can affect you. Nothing can affect you. As long as you know how, what value is you as a person, as a Muslim, regardless of what happened to you, it's not going to happen. Nothing's going to affect you. So I remember this, like the ship or the boat is always floating as long as there's no water that gets inside of it. Once water gets inside of it, that's it, it will sink. So keep your, your pride and your self-esteem and your self-confidence up, and that will come only by your confidence in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and trust in Allah Azza wa Jalla. He knew that he's qualified, and he told the king that I am qualified to do this job, I can do that. Yes, this is a very good lesson for you. تفضل يا طلال.
Just to make women feel better. كيد الرجال ذكر قبل كيد النساء.
You might disagree with you in that. He said the thoughts of men are higher, just to make women feel better, because Allah said here, إِنَّ كَيْدَ كُنَّ عَظِيمٌ, the planning of women is like great. So he said, he believes that the plotting of men is higher than women. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just neutral here, but I think some people will disagree, but they wouldn't feel confident enough to say. Just kidding.
Surah Al-Iffa. I remember when we were 10 years and youth, the masjid we were in made it obligatory that we memorize the surah in the last 10 days of Ramadan. Having to be, in high school and 10 days. Entitled it as Surah Al-Iffa, the surah of modesty. It taught the youth how to observe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, watch Allah, and always thinking that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching over you.
Okay, this surah is very important for youth. Surah Al-Iffa, it teaches youth, and everybody actually, Al-Iffa is modesty and self-esteem and always having some principles that you refer to. So let's get the lessons from the story of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. Brother Sam, I just want to give more people a chance. Hold on. Sisters, please feel free. Make sure I see you. After Brother Sam, he's going to be Sister Fatima.
I mean, Sayyidina Yusuf's story is when I go back, when he taken from his dad, his brother, and he was Abu Lab, it's around 10, 12 years old. I think that's the definition of
Yes,
Ghulam.
maybe younger.
And when the ayat you just said now, when you're making da'wah, and said he was remember these back days and what he learned from his dad, and that give me an idea of the importance of learning and teaching our kids when they are still young. So Sayyidina Yusuf taken from his dad when he was 8 or 10 years old, and he still remembers this principle when he was old, about 25 or 30 years old, and he's still doing his da'wah. So that's how we need to be
Lay the foundation at home. Lay the foundation at
at
home.
home and at school and the masjid, and how this important is in our kids' life. And that's it.
So lay the foundation at home, if I may put it this way, it's so important. Nothing is going to leave really an effect that's as effective as your impact that you leave in your kids at home from the early ages. That's what happened with Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. He left his house at a very young age. Yes, Allah is taking care of him and everything, but he remembers what he learned at home. We need to teach our kids that. Allah, this is very important. We don't want to talk about sad things in here because we're talking about good things now, but we need to teach our kids not the huge things, the smallest, simplest things. How to be nice to others, how to help and serve others, how to ask elders. We can go first. I mentioned one example. Today, there was an exception. I'm not sure if I may mention the name. I stepped into the masjid after I came. Usually, kids are jumping around and making mess in the masjid. Yeah, I mean, that's what kids will do. But what I saw today is a couple of kids in the library opening the Quran, reading the Quran. Good ideas. May Allah Jalla bless them and give them. Wallahi, I was happy. I was so happy. Yeah, we need to teach our kids the basic, the simplest things. That's what Sayyidina Yusuf learned. Yes, brothers, sisters, Sister Fatima.
In the verse where Prophet Yusuf said, قال اذكرني عند
Can you pass the mic? We have somebody dedicated for that.
So please remember me when you said to
Mention your master.
So Allah said, فَلَبِثَ فِي السِّجْنِ بِضْعَ سِنِينَ. So at time of difficulties, only rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and depend only completely on Him before you rely on other reasons.
Yeah, just because I remember Dr. Farouk Samurai من أهل العراق والدكتور فحيح إن شاء الله, he referred to that. He said because Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, the inmate with him, his friend, he knew that he's leaving, so he said, just mention me to the king, mention me to him. So he mentioned my case and story. You are a prophet. You are not supposed to think even the least or attach yourself the least to anyone other than God. Allah said after that, اذكرني عند ربك فننساه الشيطان ذكر ربه فلبث في السجن بضع سنين. الشيطان make him just forget for a second that he should count only in God, and he mentioned that thing to the human being, and then he ended up being for an extra, few years extra in the prison.
In some shaitan, ذكر ربي, the one who came out from the city.
No, يعني different tafsir is
the
not.
king, not يعني, it's not the shaitan, it's the Sayyidina Yusuf.
I just mentioned one dimension of it, and I refer to the source before I say it. ودكتور ما شاء الله بالحديث, and الأخت فاطمة also ما شاء الله. Let's get more lessons, draw more lessons إن شاء الله. الله يبارك.
إنه من يتقي ويصبر فإن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين.
That came twice in the surah. إنه من يتقي ويصبر. Indeed, whoever يتقي. التقوى to Allah. Remember what Yusuf referred to a couple of days ago, yesterday. التقوى, like the horse who's trying to, before he steps, he feels what's in there. Taqwa, you have to be conscious before you take any step. Be conscious. This is a taqwa. طريق فيه شوك. If you're walking amongst thorns and stuff, you be extremely careful with each step. إنه من يتقي. Whoever got this value, التقوى ويصبر, and be patient. فإن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين. Indeed, Allah will not put into waste the reward of المحسنين, of those who do good. تقوى وصبر. تفضل يا أخي.
So we use the story
What happened to the mic?
in management. So he was very successful project manager in the fact that he alone.
Yeah, put it close to your mouth.
So
It's working.
he was alone trusted to manage the government crisis and limited resources in the 7 years of famine. So he did that not successfully, but also he had surplus. And the fact that other people, other countries nearby, like Palestine, came to benefit from his success in managing the limited resources of the government.
Where did he learn that, by the way?
From Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we use that to show how one can be very successful and also to excel to the point that he exceeds expectation of the king.
So the management, he's talking about management skills of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, and how just coming out from prison and everything, he got this position maybe because of taqwa and sabr, and obviously connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also being smart and using the resources and everything. He managed to give them a 7-year plan where they will go from famine to, at the end of the 7 years, having surplus. Subhanallah. Yes, hold on. I think it's not helping much, so just speak lower. Can you get it back, please? Add it. Go ahead.
There's like different examples in the story of Sayyidina Yusuf, how he deal with different level, different kind of fitna. Fitna being the loved child for his dad. Fitna al-jamal and how he deal with it. Fitna
Beauty, being handsome.
fitna being the handsome and how he deal with it. And fitna being in the house of the king and how he deal with it. Being in the prison and how he deal with it. Being the king and how he deal with it. All of these different kind of fitna and how he deal with them, that's like this in a different level. And one more thing, and that's like, I know it's not, like, I'm not gonna say they're related, but when we all the examples come from Sayyidina Yusuf. I'm going to take one thing from Zulaykha, the other side.
The lead, attention.
What she did when she fell in love with a human, and with even the other woman, قطعنا أيديهن. And I'm just imagining if somebody fell in love with Allah Azza wa Jal, what he can do, comparing to what the human did when she fell in love with a human or a human.
So how to deal with our shawaifa, that's probably different. How to deal with our desire, youth. It's natural, normal, that you might like a girl in your community, or a girl likes you. That's normal. If you don't get this, it's gonna come probably later, but it's normal that you feel that inclination. The thing is how to deal with it, especially in the times that we live in. You can get to her and through Instagram and this, millions of things, or she can do the same way. But let's look at Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. قَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا. Many scholars, they say the intention or the inclination, it happened to him and to her. Him being a man full of manhood and her being a woman, he got the first level of thinking to do that, yet he stopped himself at a certain point. لَوْلَا رَأَى بُرْهَانَ رَبِّهِ. And the scholars will talk about this. You saw the picture of his father, like you remember his father, there Yaqub alayhi salam in the wall, where Allah showed him some evidence. We have to know how to deal with it. It's coming later. There's always the right way to do it. So if you don't be dragged this way, don't be taken that way. If you feel the inclination, it's okay. But you have to refer to Surah Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam to know how to deal with it. Couple more lessons, very quickly, please.
Whatever Allah decreed will happen, and it will happen.
Inevitable. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decrees, it will come through. It will happen. So deal with the qadr Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and accept it and go with it. Yes, sister.
When Yusuf is dealing with a lady, he feels so attracted to her too, and then he feels like, I think he says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you do not stop for me this drama, whatever it be, I think I will accept this petition of this lady.
Yes.
And then something happened that breaks.
So he refers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, oh Allah, sincerely making the dua, if you are not going to take this away from me, I most likely probably are going to, confer to them. I will respond to them. I'm a human being. Do not put yourself in places of fitna. Stay away from circles that will drag you, thinking that I came from a good family, I'm not going to do that. No, you will. And always count on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only to take you out of that. But you have to do the action and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and strive to be a good person, to be in a salat al-mustaqim. Allah will give you support, even if the support comes in a form of a sijin. Because if he did not go to a sijin, his story would not be public later on, and he would not probably be al-aziz. He has to go through this route, so he will elevate at the end. So it was faith from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brother Adham, quickly. Couple more points quickly.
I noticed his da'wah, subhanAllah, is similar to Sayyidina Muhammad. He started with slaves, and
Weeks.
the weeks, yes. And also the fact that in Egypt it was superpower, and they had a good, just system, because they realized that he was innocent at the end. And he
They still decided to put him in prison. That's okay.
like today.
ثم بدأ لهم من بعد ما رأوا الآيات ليسألوا منه حتى حين. Yes.
العفو سيدنا يوسف عن إخوانه.
He forgave them in the end. Let's learn how to forgive no matter what. No limits.
It's very big lesson for all of us as a Muslims, especially these days when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed him the target, the goal, he's getting there. But still he went through all his test and the trial and all the things, but he had that confidence in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's getting there, and he kept faith all the way to get here. So it is lesson for all of us that Allah promised us that we will win So
Let's keep that in mind as a goal. وأوحينا إليه لتنبئنهم بأمرهم هذا وهم لا يشعرون. Allah gave him the wahy that He will tell them as they throw you in the well right now. All of that is going to be different, and the time will come that you will meet with them again, and you will tell them all of that. So he knew that he's going to survive at the end, yet he has to go through all of that. Allah told us, the beautiful lesson that the brother is going here, is Allah is telling us we're winning. Islam, nobody's going to put it down. It's going to be there. So let's, I remember Steve Covey, remember the 7 habits of success? He said, start with the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. With the end or goal. The goal is there in mind all the time. Let's not have anything divert or distract us from it. It's there. And goal is Jannah, goal is have successful family, any goal in there, let's keep it in mind all the time. I know there are so many beautiful lessons and things that we can draw from Surah Yusuf, but the time is very limited. Please excuse me. We need to continue, inshallah, for the sake of time, and inshallah more lessons probably later, inshallah. So Adhal, final, the last one.